2005 between Les Holmes and Bob Jackson, who moved from the north east in the 1950s to work in the Warwickshire Coal Fields and lived in the Camp Hill estate in Nuneaton from 1952 to 1997. Now, can you tell us what was it like to move from your hometown to Nuneaton in those days?
Well, to tell you the truth, it was a grand thing.
Yeah.
Because one thing, my home life in there, up to the northeast, was horrible. And I was glad to get away from it.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that the pits were closing down.
Yeah.
And we had to get out.
Yeah.
We had to get work what was payable, because the living conditions and the wages being paid in the northeast was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So what run up to me wanting to move was the miners themselves, not the mines, the miners.
Yeah. Because
it was generally agreed that when Shotton Colliery was closing down, people like me, tradesmen, would be offered similar work or low work in the next colliery village or the next mine.
Yeah.
And there was no chance of promotion because they wanted to keep the promotion and the high wages for the villages or the workers in that village, you understand?
Yeah.
We were classed as outsiders, even if we travelled 2 miles to the next bit,
Yeah, yes.
we were classed as outsiders.
Very close-knit communities.
Yeah, and so we were told that we would keep on the same status as where we left, with no chance of promotion.
Yeah.
So I said, to hell with them,
Yeah.
and I come away.
Yeah.
So what happened was that one day I just sat on the kitchen table with the fiancée,
Yeah.
and I said, what about if I move away to the Midlands? And I was laughing at the time, and I said, I'm going to find a home for the two of us, somewhere else. So she agreed. She said, yeah, I'll come with you wherever you want to go. So I said, right, we'll get married late 52, but I'll come back and marry you. If you still want to marry, I'll come back and marry you. Then you'll stay here until the house is sorted out. So that's what I did do. In March 1952, I jacked in, came down, signed on at Arley Colliery, 1st of April 1952, and got a job underground as railman, trackman, and one thing and another. Got settled down, looked for promotion or a bigger wage. I got it. Went back in September, married her. Came back on my own, left her up there. Came back on my own and started looking for a house.
Yeah. What was your wife's name?
Jean.
Jean. Yeah.
Jean Tate.
Yeah.
So as I came down, came back up to the honeymoon, and actually I got in an argument. The discussion was, or the rumours were, that the locals was going to commandeer the houses on Camp Hill. So I said, right, people like me, single or just freshly married with no children, didn't stand a chance of getting a house. Married people were moving into Camp Hill estate, Camp Hill
Housing estate.
no, the hostel,
Oh, yeah.
Green Lane Hostel. They were travelling from Durham, Scotland, Wales. Foreigners were moving in with families, moving in straight away, and left us single blokes or freshly married blokes in the hostel more or less on our own. So I, with another couple of Geordies, we got together and we organised a meeting with a Mr. Jones from Hamley Hall. So Mr. Jones was a very nice chap, and he came in a chauffeur-driven car. So he says, "Who's this Bob Jackson?" So, "That's me." "What do you want?" I said, "I want a meeting and get these problems sorted out about housing." "Right, oh." So we organised the meeting, and what I did, being a bit of an artist, I drew dozens of sketches about pigeons in duck cottages. Even pigeons have houses. Why can't I have a house, you know?
Yeah.
I plastered the walls and the doors with these drawings. So the day of the meeting come, and it was an uproar. Because you understand, in March, the back end of March 1952, we asked, me and another couple of Geordie blokes, we asked the manager of the hostel, I'll just forget his name for a moment, how many nationalities was there in Green Lane Hostel at that particular time. And he said, at this particular time, there's 23 different nationalities plus an Eskimo living in Green Lane Hostel. And that's what it was like, all these people living together. Anyhow, one or two parts from these foreigners. So the day of the meeting, you can imagine 23 different varieties of blokes yammering on, shouting for a house, or shouting for the sake of shouting. So at the finish, Mr. Jones said, enough is enough. I want to see him, that's me, in Moxham, Mr. Moxham's office, and we'll get that housing problem sorted out. So I went in the office with Mr. Jones, in Mr. Moxham's office, and another two blokes followed suit. They kept yammering on. So we let them have the share, so Mr. Jones said, right, you two, what do you say, out, and I spoke right piece. So I had it all worked out. He said, no, what's your trouble? So I took a photograph of the wife, my bride, out of my inside pocket, and I gave it to him. So he said, who's this? It was a very sexy photograph with dress draped all around, you know. So I said, that's my wife. And I said, you are stopping me taking her to bed by your agreement with the houses. So she's going to have a house. So I got a house in July of the following year, 1953. So we lived apart all that time looking for a house. So we settled down there in 1953 together, and I carried on working at Door Mill, working hard, and then they decided to build Campbell Church, 1968. So I gave them a hand, digging the foundations, clearing the floor, sorting out I and several other blokes. The church got finished. They had it, the inauguration for the church and the service. Next minute, I had a heart attack with so much work, and that put me in bed for 6 months. So I recovered from that, and as I was recovering from the heart attack, in 1969, Door Mill closed down. So I went to the pit, still on the sick, still with a heart attack, and I said, if I come to work, the last week...
Door Mill, you mean Arley?
Arley Colliery. I said, if I work the last week of this pit closing down, you will keep me on the books, won't you? He said, yeah. He said, we both do. because you're working. So I said, I won't be booked sick. He said, no. So I said, right, I'm coming to work the last week of this pit as it works. So he says, right, no. He says, when you come, he says, I want you to make a seat, sit on that seat, tell the blokes what to do, don't you lift a hand. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
I finished on the Friday. I took it out for a fortnight. Then I went into factory work as a contract fitter for about 3-4 months. Then I decided to go back to the pit at Dormill.
Yeah.
I forget exactly what month I joined, but unfortunately, or say fortunately, as the case may be, the employment manager was an old Arley bloke. So he says, what do you want, Bob? I said, I want a job. He says, you got one. So he, in his infinite wisdom, said, you start Monday. No argument. What shift do you want? I says, afternoon shift. Started afternoon shift on Monday. When I got to the pit on the Monday, he told everybody in sight, Bob Jackson's coming. You got to be on your toes. When I got there, I got greeted by the boss for the afternoon shift. You Bob Jackson? I said, yes. He says, I've heard all about you. And he says, you've got a name to live up to. And then I started.
Yeah.
And I should say I had a successful career at Dormill. I had my problems. I was buried once. Buried with a dead man. But we got over that. And another had a bad accident. Got dragged with mine cars. And I got a permanent disability in my leg. But never mind. It was part of life down the coal mine. And then I was instrumental in saving or safeguarding the safety of 72 men. And the best thing I got out of it was a thank you and a no quarter knocked off the shift.
Yeah.
For doing 72 men a favour.
Yeah, quite a colourful life then down the pit. You had quite a colourful life in the pit.
Oh, God, yes.
Was the work hard?
Not for me, it wasn't, because I was a tradesman. Rope splicing, plus track laying, junctions and one thing and another. It was more technical work, you know, doing everything by detail and...
Yeah. What was the camaraderie like in the pit? Was that high? Did you all work together or?
No, because there was a little bit animosity between us and the locals. There was always a feeling that we were taking work off the locals, you know, and some didn't like it. But nevertheless, we were brought up in a different regime in the northeast. Coal mining was a career. Down here it was a summer job, winter job. Summertime, a lot of them went off into the car factories and other jobs, you know. Only came back when they had to. But to us it was a career. But there's one interesting story, got to go back to Arley, was the first Christmas I was married, put it that way, and the wife was up in Durham. I decided to go back to spend the first Christmas in the company of my wife. So I went up at Christmas time, said I was going to come up, so I went up and celebrated Christmas with her. It come New Year, and I celebrated New Year with her. So she says, what are you going to do? Are you going to go back or going to stay up here? So I said, I'm going to go back and make my excuses and start again. I went back, and when I got in the lamp room, on the first day back, what was his name? George Davis, the lamp man. My lamp was missing off the rack, and I went to George and I says, George, I says, I haven't got a lamp. He says, no, we haven't. He says, you've got to report to the manager. He says, what the hell have you been doing now? They've had enough of you. So I says, I haven't done nothing, only been on holiday. So I had to go see the manager, and the manager, before the manager could speak, I said to him, I apologise, I'm late coming back, but he says, I told him, I says, you know how it is, freshly married, never been living together, I've had a B.No. He says, I've got nothing to do with me about your married life. I said, well, what's the lamp stopped for? He said, I want you to set up a training school to teach these Warwickshire men how to do these jobs properly. I said, what do you think? He says, you will be in complete charge of the training school. And I turned around and told him, no. And that put me end to my career as a boss. But never mind, that's just one of the stories.
Yeah.
1,000 stories I could tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I went to Door Mill and I made my mark there, especially when I forecast 72 men who were going to get hurt by a fault in the system. And I was proved right. And after that, again, that knowledge is the man. So I ended up at Door Mill, on staff, in charge of transport, trucks, etc. Until again I had to retire with ill health in 83. So actually I've been retired since 1983 till now. So I've had a good retirement, haven't I?
Yeah, you've done well.
On full pay.
Yeah.
Or next to it anyhow.
Yeah.
So
when you moved into your house in Camp Hill, was it a new house or newish?
it was a brand new house, never lived in before. The only fault with it was there was 25 steps to the front door and a very steep garden, and to give the wife a chance, I put steps in the back garden, and there was 20 steps in the back garden to get to the back gate, and 25, as I say, at the front.
Yeah.
And we lived there 45 years, and when Margaret Thatcher gave the right to buy, we bought it.
Yeah.
And we loved the house that much, it was part of our lives together, and we made it lovely. But again, that's another story. So we bought it, and I sold it 10 times what I paid for it. So that's a good deal, didn't it?
Yeah.
And we brought up 4 children in it, and it was very, very nice. And I wish I still lived there.
Yeah.
It's a lovely place, Camp Hill, but it's sadly deteriorated over the time.
As we speak now, there are plans afoot to change things to make it a Camp Hill village there.
Yeah.
Trying to make the community better than it has been in the past. Well, thanks for your reminiscences then, Bob. It's been very interesting talking to you, and this is a part of the local history of Nuneaton that people will be able to listen to in years to come. Thank you very much.